I'm attorney Zach Townsend with Pro Legal Care. I've been handling DCFS matters since 2011. The important thing to know about DCFS matters is they can happen to anyone. One mistake, one split-second decision, one moment of not paying attention. Things that we do as parents every day. The most common process that DCFS does is called an administrative investigation. The administrative investigation is where caseworkers go out and find information, make sure that they lay eyes on the child, make sure the child is safe. There will be a home visit. Are you allowed to not allow DCFS to enter your home? Short answer is no. You have to let them in. Long answer is you could deny them access, but there are going to be consequences if you deny DCFS access. When DCFS is investigating and wants to hear from you, if you exercise your right to remain silent, that can be used against you in DCFS matters. If you are not willing to cooperate, then you could be facing very serious consequences that affect or even compromise your parental rights. It's important that you're truthful to DCFS. One white lie can change the direction of your case in a very negative way. This is something that really is going to come into play in terms of their perspective of you as this investigation unfolds. So it's very important that you're truthful. And sometimes showing humility helps you get through the case, not just for you personally. Sometimes DCFS just wants you to have the awareness that maybe what you did wasn't that smart, but everybody makes mistakes. And sometimes it's okay to acknowledge that. If DCFS offers you services, are you required to accept them? The short answer is yes. The long answer is that they consider it to be only a recommendation and that you're not required to participate in services. But when DCFS recommends that you do something and you don't do it, that could be used against you in the future. Can DCFS talk to your children when you are not around? The answer is yes. They have every right to, and you really can't prevent them from doing so. DCFS has the right to talk to your children at school or some other setting where you are not there. If DCFS comes to your home and wants to speak to your children, they're going to be allowed to do so. After the DCFS investigation is concluded, when you receive your results of the investigation, they're going to come in the form of a letter. The letter is going to specify either the investigation was indicated or the investigation was unfounded. Indicated means that they have found credible evidence that the abuse or the neglect has occurred. Unfounded means that they have concluded that the abuse or neglect did not occur, or there was not enough evidence to say that the abuse or neglect actually happened. If you're indicated by DCFS, your name is put onto a registry of neglectors or abusers. The list is not a publicly available list, but it is accessible by certain employers, schools, nursing homes, hospitals, police. If you have been indicated by DCFS, it could jeopardize your job. If you work at a place that services children, disabled people, elderly folks, other types of people who are especially vulnerable, those places have access to the registry. If you are indicated by DCFS, you might be limited in your ability to volunteer or to participate in your child's field trip or class party or other type of school participation as a parent because they have access to that registry. Can you appeal an indicated finding by DCFS? The answer is yes. If you are indicated by DCFS, you will be notified by mail. You will receive a letter that states that you are indicated. You can submit a request for appeal within 60 days of the date of that letter. When you submit a request for appeal, you can ask for an expedited appeal, which means that the result of the appeal will be provided within 30 days of that request being received by DCFS. Or you can request a regular appeal, which means that the results of your appeal will be determined within 90 days of your request for appeal being received by DCFS. When you submit a request for appeal, it essentially gets you a court date. Now, it is a hearing, there is a judge, and it occurs all within the Illinois Department of Child and Family Services. So the judge that presides over your appeal works for DCFS. There will also be a DCFS lawyer that represents DCFS in the administrative appeal. The administrative appeal is not in a courtroom, but it very much feels like a regular courtroom, and sometimes it has more consequences. After an administrative appeal, the DCFS judge, known as an administrative law judge, will quote unquote take the matter under advisement. That means that the decision will not be made right away as to whether or not you won your appeal. The decision will come to you within 45 to 60 days after the administrative hearing takes place. Once you exhaust your administrative remedies, meaning the administrative law judge has denied your request for appeal, then you could bring the case in circuit court. You have a very short time frame after the administrative decision is returned. This is in state trial court. This is where you actually have a lawsuit against DCFS. This is where you say that the outcome of the administrative investigation was arbitrary, was an abuse of discretion, the indicated finding should have never been found, and the appeal that you did administratively should have been granted, but it was not. When you are in the process of the administrative investigation, you sometimes are requested, will you enter this safety plan? A safety plan is an agreement where you agree to follow certain rules that DCFS imposes on you. Those rules might include that a certain person is not allowed to be around your child. Those rules might say that you are not allowed to be around your child unless you have somebody present with you as a supervisor that's been approved by DCFS. The safety plan might say that the child will no longer live with you until further notice. There are all kinds of different terms that a safety plan can include. Sometimes, if you refuse to enter a safety plan, DCFS will then bring the case to court through the state's attorney. And if you have to go to court for your DCFS matter, then something has gone terribly wrong. If DCFS is involved in your family, you need help and you need to act quickly. So make sure that you call me. I can get on the phone with you for an emergency consultation if needed. Just don't wait, take action, give me a call, and I can show you your new path forward.